This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for Avoid the Maze. And I have Alyssa Jacey with me, and it's been months since we've been together. Um, Yet I follow you on Facebook and Instagram, and um, from somebody who's sitting back watching you, it looks like everything is perfect. And for someone like myself who deals with daily issues in podcasts, um, I know that's really not the case. That we sort of put on our blue to make us feel good. Uh, but at the end of the day, when we take the blue off and we clear off our makeup, um, in our minds, things are going on. So one of the things I noticed though was a couple months ago, you packed up and you went to Hawaii. So was that a planned trip or was it something that you said, hey, I just need to go somewhere?
Well, Karen, first, great to see you in person again after a handful of months. And I do love that you're wearing a plethora of jewelry and the top and the mic and everything. So super cool. Thank you for that. And I really like having these kinds of honest conversations because a lot of public figures, public speakers, actors, musicians, models, influencers, we can all, and even people in general life, we all kind of put on this face like, look at my life, it's so great. But I am very also I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I did share in December of last year on Facebook, before I stopped using my personal page, the horrid list of things that happened to me, starting from even just December 2019 all the way through this past summer. And because of all those things, and if you want to hear them, we can get into them, but there were so many terrible, awful, god-awful things, like death in the family, divorce with my husband, health things going on with me. I mean, like 10 to 12 things. And so when April came around last year, I said, I need to get out of here. And Hawaii for the last 11 years has been a place where, yes, it's Hawaii and it's nice to go be on the beach and drink your Mai Tais. And I do have really great friends that live there. And that's awesome. But it's also a place that I've gone to perform mainly. That's mainly why I go to Hawaii, is to write music. And this time it was more of a reset button where I was like, not going to be on social media much, not going to talk to my friends very much, not going to talk to my family very much. I just need to be with myself. And I went there for 3 weeks. I did play, I think, 5 shows in 3 weeks. And the rest of that time, I did my own thing. And I wrote some very cathartic songs. I think I wrote 4 songs on that 3-week trip, and just spent time with myself. And it felt so amazing when I got home.
Well, most of us don't know how to spend time with ourselves. And it's something that I never really understood until I really started podcasting. And I'd realized that at the end of the day, as much as I loved everything I was doing, I was picking up something from everyone that I talked to, and I was living it. And here would be the end of the day, and my husband wanted to talk to me. My son wanted to share what was going on with him. Somebody else was calling me on the phone, and I wanted none of it. And I couldn't understand it until all of a sudden I woke up and I said, wait a second, where's me?
Yes.
And so I found, especially this summer, I'm not a swimmer, but I would go to the pool and I would stand in the pool, up to my chest, and people would have to go around me. And I didn't care because the pool was big enough. There were plenty of space for them. But I didn't have my phone on me. I wasn't wearing my watch. and I looked the opposite direction from the clock that was up on the wall,
Yeah.
and it was great. 30 minutes, 60 minutes of just like me hearing things in my head and deciding that's good. No, don't want to deal with it. So it sounds like that's what you were doing.
I think everyone rewind and listen again to what Karen just said. And it's not something you have to do, like she said, longer than 30 minutes. I might take 20 to 25 minutes, just a few times a week. And I should take my watch off next time.
Yeah.
But I go without my phone and I just have conversations with myself. And I think about, I've never been more honest with myself in my life either. I've been going through a lot of therapy because of the divorce and certain things that have happened in the family, and just trying to be a better person in general. There are some bad habits that I've picked up just from being alive. And I, just want to be a better person in general. So I have been in therapy, and I'm so grateful for what I've learned. And some of those things I've learned is just maybe this sounds simple to some people, but to be honest with yourself. So you ask yourself these questions. Why do you think you're getting hung up on what someone said 2 weeks ago? More than likely, that person had their own thing going on. It has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
So taking this time that I did in Hawaii, or doing in the pool, where you can walk down the street, really just any time on your own and just talking with yourself and having honest conversations, you will be, I believe, pleasantly surprised at what you will say back to yourself.
Well, and the interesting part that I found is that the people that I came in contact with after I got out of the pool, when I would come home, I was more in tune with, hey, what does everybody want for dinner? My phone would ring and I could make the choice whether or not I was going to answer it without looking at it. And that's something else I've been doing. I've been, carrying my phone in my back pocket. But instead of looking to see who's calling, when I hear it ring, if it's something that I just don't want to deal with right now, it can go to voicemail. And my husband finds it very strange, because when his phone rings, I'm always saying, who was it? Who was it? And so he told me I have to stop listening for his phone. And he's right, because I let his life integrate too much into mine, to the point that, I can't function as healthily as I'd like.
I don't think people quite understand how much we as humans carry of other people's things, right? So
Right.
Like you were mentioning earlier, it's your son is asking this question, and you've got dinner going on, and the job this, and the phone that, and your husband this, and your podcast, and there's just all these things. But then your best friend wants to call you and catch up with this, and then there's this other family member, and they want to talk to you about what's going on with them, and that's okay. That's great. Sometimes you can juggle all that if you're centered with yourself. But if you need time for you, take time for you, because you're not even really that great of a feedbacking receiver of what they want to share with you and advice to
Exactly.
back to them if you are not with yourself.
So you do have a lot of people who grab at you. We know that. And I don't mean necessarily physically, but they want your attention. And there are times that you need people to listen to you as well. Hey, I'm ready to go into the studio and record this. Why aren't you ready? And I just heard that from somebody yesterday that I was talking to. His studio group has been begging him for the last month. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? And he kept saying, I'll let you know. And then he let them know, and they said, they put him off for 3 weeks. And his first reaction was anger. But during the podcast yesterday, he just worked through it. He goes, oh my gosh, why am I angry? I'm not going anywhere. 3 weeks is fine.
Asking yourself that question is so eye-opening into your own soul and your own life. Starting with why. There's a book that I just bought called Starting with Why, or Start with Why, by Simon Sinek, I believe his name is. And that's kind of a different reason of the whys than what we're talking about. But simply asking that question just to yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why did I think that? Why am I angry right now? Why am I jumping to the irrational thought? What else could this mean? Right?
Right? Exactly. Exactly. So I am going to ask you a question for those who may be listening for the first time. And you pointed out I'm wearing the blue and you're wearing the blue. So tell everybody why blue.
Okay, so I am a very proud and excited almost to be 40-year-old. I'm going to turn 40 on December 28th of this year. And that's significant because, well, it's also just before I celebrate my 10-year anniversary in Nashville. But when I was 16 years old is when I started having an obsession with the color blue. I started wearing it all the time. My first car was blue. All of my cars have been blue since then. My apartments and my home has been blue, even though behind me you're facing a white wall, but believe me, there are blue walls everywhere. And it was around 24 years old when I started singing, and 25 when I started performing in public. And I don't have a marketing background. I don't have a branding background. I don't have any kind of PR training, anything like that. But when I started, the literal month, I believe I started singing, which is January of 2005, sorry. I thought to myself, how do I make me different? How do I set myself aside from all the other female brunette, acoustic singer-songwriters? Well, a lot of people already know me as this girl who wears blue all the time. So I'm just going to brand myself in blue, wear it every day for the rest of my life. I do take some days off. And be like the blue girl. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this little lightning bolt came and struck my brain and said, you should have this little tagline called "Bring the crew and wear your blue. Call your fans the Blue Crew." And it was the very next month when my grandma passed away from the most horrible disease that I have ever been close to, called Alzheimer's. And I made a promise right then and there that if I were to ever be able to give back to a charity in the way that I really want to give back, of course, I perform for breast cancer all the time, American Cancer Society, all kinds of different charities, but
Sure.
Alzheimer's is mine, near and dear to my heart. I would start giving back. So I've been giving either a dollar or some form of proceeds back from every single ticket sale or merchandise sale to the Alzheimer's Association from all my concerts, if you just wear the color blue. So if you show up at shows in your favorite shades of blue, you're automatically, I'm going to take a percentage or something from your ticket sale or merch sales, and I'm going to donate it to the Alzheimer's Association.
Well, and since you told me that story when we first met, I now am in tune with my podcasters. If there is a color like you that you like, that is I find that when I do those podcasts, that's what I wear, because it makes me feel like I can give you just a little bit of myself. And that's something that I think is important, because when you write a song and then you perform that song, you are giving your audience a little bit of yourself. And that little bit, depending how we absorb it, can either make our life so much better, or it may go the opposite direction. And what I want people to understand is that when you write those lyrics and you put the music together, that's your heart and soul. And we have to respect that. I've heard too many people say, I don't like that performer because they're always talking, about the love life that they threw away. And it's like, well, maybe there's a reason for writing that song that way. My son is very specific on the music he likes. And, I'll say, have you heard so-and-so? And he'll go, don't want to listen to that. And I'll go, but why not? At least listen to it a little bit, find out what it's really all about. And he's like, no, I heard one lyric, I heard one song, I want to give back. And that's what I do. So when you were in Hawaii, away from family, friends, and you were writing. Was there anything special that was coming out in those songs? Any special theme?
I think there was a recurring theme in all of them. um, I think there is something special in every kind of song any artist writes because, like you said, it's their art, or any kind of painting a painter paints, any kind
Right.
of speech a public speaker gives, right? So, but there's definitely a theme. I've been in a lot of pain because of my personal relationship, but I've also kind of come out on the other end. I mean, forgive me for saying this, but kind of a beaming light. I do feel like I've entered into this other realm of sheer, pure, organic happiness that I don't think I've ever felt before. And it was a combination of that was really the beginning part of it. It wasn't right then when I felt truly how I'm expressing to you now. It was actually May 22nd when something really pivotal happened in my life. So this was April just before that. But going on this trip started the process, and being able to wake up and just do what you want when you want and take that time for yourself and just open up your laptop or your piece of paper and or your guitar or whatever instrument you have and just let it out. And it just, everything just came out. And what's been different about these songs is usually when I write a song, that's what you hear. When I first write, I don't go back and change the lyrics. Then I record it and it's out. But a handful of what I've been writing this entire year, and sure these songs in April, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 rewrites. I mean, just scratching out, no, that's not right. That's not right. I really want these songs to be exactly what I want the listener to get out of it. And so that was kind of a different special that I experienced.
You know, it's interesting because I've heard there are some songwriters like yourself in the past. Whatever I write, that's it. I'm not going to go back and change it. And then there are others, even like the Beatles, who wrote a lot of music, put it away, said, no, this is just not right. We're never going to use it. And then years later, it was like, oh, what can we do with this?
Mhm.
And that's what we do in our life too. I mean, when they say art mimics life, life mimics art as well. Um, you know, there are a lot of things I'm doing at this stage of my life that I never thought I would. Um,
Want to share
and
those?
what was that?
You want to share those?
Well, the first thing, I never thought I would get to the point where I didn't hold grudges. I grew up at a time where if something wasn't right, it hurt me so much, I held that grudge. And my husband, when we first met, said to me, you've got to learn to let go. And I would argue with him all the time. No, that's what keeps me safe. And that's what I thought. And it didn't keep me safe.
Oh my
Why?
God.
Is that how you felt?
Yeah.
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 I saw the jaw drop. Yeah. Because if you remembered how you got hurt over here and held on to that, you figured, I'm never going to let that happen again. But in my reality, it was happening again because that's all I knew. I didn't know how to get rid of it. So, and just to share a little bit, because you bring it out of me, after a 7-year marriage and being married very young, um, my first husband and I, we split just like that. It took, I'm sure things were brewing, but it happened one night, one little incident, and it was over. And we never even looked back to say, can we fix this?
Mm.
And we did have a child. And I blamed him for a very long time. And I blamed his family. And to some degree, he has told me recently that he blames himself and his family. But the reality of it is now I can look back, we were never meant for each other. We had not one thing in common other than both being born Jewish. That was it.
Mhm.
You know,
Wow.
and that's not something that really should bring people together.
Yeah, right.
You know, like you should be brought together because you got something that means something to you. And but for years, I held on to it. It was during a podcast when I overheard somebody else saying they've been married 4 times. Those 4 husbands did it to them, and their mother did it to them, and their grandmother. And I sat there and I went, wow, sounds like me. I don't want to be this way anymore. And I started to change. So, for those people out there listening, you know, here you are a performer. You never thought you were going to be a performer when you were young.
You're right.
It just happened. Okay. Um, and as things do in life, things happen along with that. And so it's up to you to take that time to figure out where you go with it.
This is a very honest podcast, which I love being a part of. You make me very comfortable, and I feel very like just in a safe place to talk to you and to your listeners about this sort of thing. And I'm really glad that you just shared what you shared, because there is something called being self-reflective, and what this divorce has done for me and this relationship has done for me is put a mirror in my face and show me that I have continued to make the same mistakes in every relationship, not just romantic, but with everyone in my life. I've done the same things over and over again. And I don't even know sometimes how I could have friends or have relationships because of some of these things. And if I don't change them, I don't even like myself when I, see those. And I look back now and I'm just, I'm not there anymore. And thank God for that. And thank God for, just, I'm proud of us. So I want to give us a little air 5 here for being able to change ourselves and being able to be aware. Being self-awareness is tough. It really is. It's not the most easy place to be, but I promise you, if you put in that work, you are going to feel so much lighter and so much happier, and things in your whole sphere will change. Your world will change. You're going to wake up one day and be like, I'm a little tweeting bird in a cartoon. Like, it's just, everything is different. So really, really grateful that you just shared that story with everyone. And I'm definitely right there with you, just making those changes in yourself and letting go. And I have to show you this. I hope I can pull this down low enough for you to see. But when I was 30, can you see that tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Love it.
just before I got this tattoo when I was 30, and before then, I had been told by multiple people, most of my family, Alyssa, you have such an issue with letting go. You have a problem with letting things go. So to your point, I Googled, what is the universal symbol for letting go? And the throat chakra came up. That's the throat chakra.
Okay.
To be blue. All of the chakras in the body are different colors. This one happened to be blue. At the time, I had just graduated. I graduated 5 years prior to that, but I was a communications major. You communicate through your voice, right? And then I turned into a singer. Communicate through your lyrics and through your voice. And this was also supposedly, when I looked it up, the universal symbol for letting go. So I tattooed it on my back as a reminder to let things roll off my back.
I love that. If nothing else, the pandemic pushing so many of us to Zoom. I mean, Zoom was there before the pandemic, FaceTime was there. There were all these opportunities, but most of us really didn't use them because we waited till we could be in the same city, or at least, close by in some way.
Right.
And yet Zoom has brought people together. And I want my listeners to know that there's a couple of reasons why I love you as much as I do. Number one, even though my family doesn't see it, you remind me of my niece. And she is adorable and fun. And she lives life, okay? And so do you. Um, she has a way that she can call me out on something without me feeling old or mean or nasty. It's like, oh, did I do that? So, like the other night, I was talking to her and she just happened to say in passing, yeah, we were supposed to have a special dinner last night, uh, but we got involved in something. And I said, special dinner? And she goes, yeah, for my birthday. And my jaw dropped because I have everybody's birthday on my calendar. And I went back and was like, oh my God, Rachel, I missed your birthday. And she goes, you know, just another year. But you remind me so much of her. But you also remind me that there is pain in life. And we all need to learn how to deal with it.
Mm.
And our families may not like the way we deal with it.
Mhm. Yes.
You know, our significant others may not like the way we deal with it. But at the end of the day, if we are doing things for everybody else, and that even means you on stage, you know, responding to everybody and playing every song that they want, even though you want to sing something else,
Mhm.
you're not going to be good at it.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
So, what can we expect to be hearing in the near future? Are any of these songs going to be published here soon?
Well, I am so excited because I am about to celebrate and here in Nashville, Tennessee, for the listeners, there's something called Whiskey Jam. And it started 10 years ago this past January. And it started as this, for a couple guys who got together, let's kind of start this thing where we book maybe 6 to 8 artists a night. They get 3 songs and let's see if we can turn it into something. Well, they have turned it into a worldwide, just massive, like just a very well known, very well respected evening of music. And people like Miranda Lambert might just drop by sometime. Melissa Etheridge might just drop by sometime. Chris Young. One night I was on the same lineup with a guy named Bubba Sparks. Do you remember who that is? Country rapper from like the early 2000s
Wow.
or something. So I've been very, very lucky to have been on one of the lineups once a year ever since I moved here. So this Monday, I'm celebrating my 10th Whiskey Jam in 10 years here in Nashville. And 2 of the songs are 2 of these newer songs. The first one we open with is called Choosing Boys. The second one is called See Me Cry. And they both have rap in them, as I think I've shared with you before.
Right.
For your new listeners, for the last 3 years or so, I've been writing kind of like Jason Mrazzi, fast speaking rap parts as opposed to like a bridge in the song. And See Me Cry has I'm going to use the word gnarly because I'm from San Diego, the gnarliest, fastest, longest, no breath rap, similar topics. And I will be posting the videos from this coming Monday show. I don't ever really play with a full band. And I've got a keyboardist, I've got a bassist, I've got a drummer, and I've got a lead guitar player. So it's guitar and keys in one.
Wow.
And then there's one acoustic guitar. I'm going to be singing on the drums. My drummer and I are going to be trading places. He takes my guitar. I jump off stage with my wireless mic. It's going to be such a fun event. And so you will see those videos online. I would like to record them, but I'm going to have to make a GoFundMe video an account to help me raise because it's what I need to do at the moment. But I would love to record See Me Cry, Choosing Boys, and a couple other songs that I've written earlier in the year that are more so, there's a light at the end of the tunnel theme behind all of them. There's a form of inspiration at the same time of a little bit of heartbreak and heartache. And at the same time, you're also proud to be yourself. You're proud to be you. And that's another thing that has recently happened. I just revamped my entire mentoring artist development business. It used to be called Image 1228. It is now called I Am Unashamedly Me.
I love that. Oh,
You can look it up. It's IAUM.live.
okay.
Very simple. I am ashamedly me. So IAUM.live. And it's for all careers, ages, and stages of life where it's like motivational mentoring, and I'm calling the term inspirational career coaching. So I'm not a life coach, I'm not a career coach, but I'm motivationally coaching you through your career. Or if you want to change careers, if you're in the middle of one and you want to kind of jump from one to another, how do you even do that? How do you begin somewhere with zero experience? And as you listeners might have heard Karen mention before, I had no idea I was going to be a singer. I had been performing my entire life as a dancer, but I didn't know I would ever be a singer. So how did I go from trying to make it into the dance industry and going to school as a college student and then becoming a singer, which also led to TV host, which also led to career coach and all these other different things. So that this business is about all those things, but also the core of it is the title of the business, being unashamedly yourself. I am always me. If I have a glass of wine or two or three or not, if I'm dead sober, if I'm out on stage, if I'm in this interview, this is me. And I want to encourage everyone in the world to just be you, be unashamedly you.
What a fantastic message, because we've talked many times on New Cleveland Radio that we always want to look like somebody else. You know, she's got beautiful hair. I want my hair that way. So we go to the hairdresser and we say, here's a picture, make me look like that. Some hairdressers say, absolutely. I love my hairdresser because she'll say, no, that's not you. And this is what we can do. And if you don't like it, you know, go find somebody else. And she's so true. But growing up, you know, young girls, they all want to wear their hair the same way. And they want, you know, if everybody's wearing blue, they want to wear blue. But if tomorrow everybody's wearing pink, they want to wear pink. And I grew up with a mother who would say to me, well, you don't need the pink today. Here's turquoise, wear this. And I would cry walking out of the house because I was going to look different. And now today, I cherish being different. But if we can get that message out early on, you know, there's beauty in all of us. I just love what you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And key word in what she just said, in. There's beauty in all of us. You don't have to look a certain way on the outside to be beautiful on the inside. So I think that was a key point.
You are so right. Well, Monday's going to be a big day for you. I'm so excited. I'm
freaking out over here.
I can't wait till you post it so we all get to hear it. When you start your GoFundMe,
yes,
please let us know so we can push it out there. And I want people to understand that this is how musicians live today. It's not like the big record labels are coming to them and saying, hey, you know, I'm going to record you and I'm also going to give you money. That's not the way it is. I mean, it might be for Taylor Swift or somebody like that, but for the most part, musicians, they're doing it all.
That's true. And it's not even just this day and age. A lot of musicians don't have they haven't had day jobs.
Right.
So when I first started, I was going to college full time and I had a part-time job and I was trying to, you know, play music. And then eventually it was, okay, full-time day job playing music at night. And then after 8 years in San Diego, I moved to Nashville, and I've been full-time musicianing, multiple streams of income in the musician world
right
since then. But yeah, if you don't have a day job, you don't have something that can back you, we do have to have that financial support, that backing. And it's something that we could not do without you. So we so badly want to get this music out and connect with you in that way and continue to be able to be a part of your life and get you through some of those times where you need to hear these kinds of songs, whether they're uplifting or whether it's, you know, the heartbreaking or whatever the point of the song is. we could really team up in that way. So I will absolutely let you know when my GoFundMe is.
I look forward to it. Hope you're all safe in Nashville because we've heard reports about bad weather and things like that happening, but you must be safe that you went to the gym and then got home today. So
Oh, I'm lucky that I'm terrible about going to a gym. So I gave myself a little bit of a divorce gift and bought myself a treadmill.
oh, okay.
So I have a treadmill in my house now, so I don't have any excuses when it starts snowing over winter here, or if it was pouring like the last several days, it's been pouring rain, and I can't go run outside like I prefer to, because that's how I stay tan. I run inside.
Well, you're taking care of yourself, and that's another thing that we all have to do. Stay in touch. We will have you back again because you're my niece, cousin, daughter, whatever from another family. And I just love you to
Love you,
bits.
Karen.
Have a great day. Thank you, sweetie. Bye bye.
Bye.